Oh, thanks. It's really my pleasure. Thank you for putting this exhibition together, and for Karen for bringing it to my attention, and especially to Dawit for this really remarkable body of work that I find I'm always expecting a lot of photographers, and you did exactly what I want people to do, which is to find something that you know about and you have a special access to, and then report on it as best as you can to bring that to us, because I had no idea about any of this history until I started looking at these pictures. And I liked hearing what you said about how you approach portraiture, because it is very much a collaboration between you and your subjects. And I think you know, the stories that you've brought forward are a result of taking care in that collaboration and thinking about what it was that you wanted out of the project, but being very mindful and respectful of the people that you were photographing. Because I don't think that photography is as objective as it is believed to be, that I find it's very subjective. And I'm always very conscious of the photographer being what I call a biased witness, because they have a preconceived notion of what they want to capture and what they want to show to us. So this really moves away from traditional photojournalism, which is really concentrated on spot news and finding what's in front of the camera and really only photographing what's there. But now, as we're moving forward and we need more sophisticated reporting, the type of work that you're doing helps us arrive at a much deeper truth, I think. Karen had mentioned a few of the people that I work with that I think she was remembering as a result of your work. And one is, I hope this works out okay in terms of showing, I didn't know exactly how to do this in a low-tech way, but we'll see how this goes. Yeah. So these are portraits, maybe that's less glare there, by Louis Palou, a Canadian photojournalist who was embedded in Afghanistan during the height of the war there. And he became very interested in the soldiers that he was embedded with. So these are American soldiers who were fighting in the the Afghanistan war. And, you know, and these people are in their early 20s. But when you can see what's embedded in their face after such a short period of time, it's really remarkable to see, you know, those traces of history that get ingrained on our faces. So I think certainly stylistically, I can see some common ground, and especially your use of lighting in terms of having that side lighting and making the best use of natural light. You know, I think these are also striking portraits. When I was thinking though about this way that you're representing history, that is something that's very interesting for me, because there's a notion there that you're also representing time, and seeing that layering of time between your sitters and what they're wearing and bringing together these different generations. That definitely, for me, brought to mind some work that Dawit Tibebu did called the Birmingham Project. And hopefully I can pull this without, there we go. So this is the book that I'm showing it from. And the Birmingham Project, it relates to the tragedy that happened in 1963 in Birmingham, Alabama, at the 16th Street Baptist Church, where the Ku Klux Klan had laid some bombs with the intention of harming people. And they did. They harmed a few young girls. Later on in the day, the Klan also harmed a couple of boys. And so what Dawit wanted to do was make these double portraits. And similar to your work, Dawit, he doesn't pose them. He photographed them separately. That boy and that man had never met before. The boy is the age of one of the young children that died on that day. And And the man is what the age would have been had that murder not taken place. And the way that he presented them as diptychs, I thought were really quite touching. And also that he did the diptychs after taking the pictures. So each portrait session was individual, and it was mostly the formal similarities between different sitters that he started to notice as, like after he had made the prints. And then he started to see these combinations come together. So I thought that was another interesting way, again, of picturing time, because it's an elusive thing that you're dealing with 1/125th of a second in many cases, which is a fraction of time. But in your photographs, you're actually somehow coalescing generations of time that we can read into your photographs. And that's something that I think is quite remarkable. Another person that Karen mentioned was the work of Jeff Thomas, who's a First Nations artist. He's an urban Iroquois, Onondaga, and he has been grappling, as a lot of us do, with the historical depiction of First Nations in the work of people like Edward Curtis or George Gatlin. And so on this photograph, the black and white it is an old historical photograph that was taken by a settler photographing something that they thought was exotic. And then the color photograph is one that Jeff has done. So he's trying to grapple with the past while living in the present. So again, he's bringing these different generations together into a single photograph. Anyway, those are the observations that came to my mind when looking at your work. And I think I've gone over my time already. So I'll stop there and then look forward to the continuing discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful works.
Those are gorgeous. Thank you for sharing that. All right.